Hey everyone, welcome back to Well and More. My name is Larissa and this channel focuses on all things personal development, career development, and more. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification button so you don't miss any updates from the Well and More fam. Okay, today's video is going to be focusing on things that you should know if you're planning a solo trip. So in the past, I had my fair share of amounts of solo trips. They were amazing and exciting, and the experiences are for a lifetime. So I wanted to create this video to provide some tips to help you prepare for your solo trip if that's something that you're planning this year or in the future. So let's jump into it. Tip number one, planning a travel itinerary. I know for some people they like to just go with the wind, but there's a lot of benefits in planning or creating a travel itinerary. You don't have, it's not concrete and it could be subject to change. It's okay, but just with the travel itinerary, it allows you to really structure your trip so that you can really see how much time allocation you have on the trip. So if you want to do some sightseeing, excursions, shopping, or if you want to travel to local cities around, then having that travel itinerary or creating that travel itinerary can give you an idea when it comes to the time that you're allocating to certain events that you're planning on your trip. And it also gives you a roadmap so that when you get there, you're not just stumped trying to figure out what to do, but with the travel itinerary, you were able to do your research before your trip. So you know what local events are going on, you know what local cities are a must-see and a must-go to prior to your trip. There's so many other benefits when it comes to creating a travel itinerary. Trust me, it's worth it. I know some people are just like, ugh, it's just such a grueling process to do research, but it's so beneficial because you become familiarized with the location that you're going to before your trip. Okay, so this is a perfect segue into tip number two. Tip number two, I feel like this is very important and it's often overlooked, but for me, this was very, very, very beneficial in the past when I had some solo trips. And this tip is staying up to date with current news within that location you're planning on traveling to. So staying up with current news, it allows you to stay up to date with any when it comes to any important information that you need to know that may offset any plans that you had put in place within your travel itinerary. So for example, there was one time I was traveling to Greece. I love Greece, guys. It's a must go. A must go to location. But I was traveling to Greece. I went to Thessaloniki for a conference, and at the time when I was traveling, there happened to be wildfire. So for me, I was staying up to date with the news to see if there's gonna be, for one, to see if the wildfire was gonna be in my location, but it wasn't. I believe it was in Athens, so it wasn't even near Thessaloniki. So for me, I wanted to see if there's gonna be any delays when it came to my travels in case I had to stop over in Athens and then go to Thessaloniki. So I was staying up to date with current news just to see if there would be any offsets or any delays within my trip, or to see if there will be any effects in any excursions that I was planning in Athens, right? Because I wanted to go from Thessaloniki to Athens afterwards. So I was staying up to date with current news just to, you know, be up to date to see if there's anything that may be important for me to know so that I can plan ahead prior to. So staying up to date with the current news within the location that you're traveling to is key and very important, guys. Tip number three, budgeting. But when we're talking about budgeting, guys, I'm gonna add a little sauce on top of it. Budgeting and adding a little extra on top of that. So let's say you're planning this solo trip and you have a set budget, right? even though you have a set budget, just add a little bit extra on top of that. This little bit of extra money that you're adding on top of your budget is not money that you're putting in your plans, like my excursions, my travel, my transportation, my food money. No, this is called an emergency fund, okay? And this is very important. I understand that some people, they like to travel with credit cards, but it's always good to mix it up a bit. Travel with a little bit of cash and travel with a little bit of cash and travel with a credit card, because you never know what can happen. And honestly, I have experienced it all. And if you're interested in knowing a bit more about my solo trips, comment down below and I'll share a story time with you guys. This is a story time you won't want to miss, to be honest. But back to budgeting. Budgeting, but also saving an emergency fund on top of your budget, just in case something that was unforeseen happens and you may need a little bit of extra cash, or let's say your credit card, knock on wood, your credit card goes missing, right? You have that extra emergency fund just in case, right? And that emergency fund could also be used as flexible funds. So let's say you budgeted a certain amount and your funds are running low. You are going to be beneficial because you listened to me and you saved a little bit more extra. So now you have flexible funds for your trip. Thank me later. I'm telling you, thank me later. Tip number 4. I learned this from I learned this one from my 3rd solo trip. Bring an extra phone. I know you guys are probably wondering, girl, why do we need an extra phone, Larissa? You're being extra. No, but honestly, thank me later for this one too. Bring an extra phone, because yes, you're traveling with your devices and you're having the time of your life, but you just never know what can happen. You know, let's say your phone is damaged or you lose it or it gets stolen, and then you're put in a compromising situation. It's just better to be safe rather than sorry. And even if you plan to the extra mile when it comes to your trips, it's going to be beneficial for you because you're prepared in the case that something may happen, in the case that your phone gets damaged, stolen, or lost. You have an extra phone, right? And especially when it comes to a solo trip, I mean, you could always buy a phone. If you prefer, you could always buy a phone from the location that you're staying at. However, it's just something that could be undetermined. The reason why I say that, I went on a solo trip and my phone got stolen, unfortunately. I was robbed. And I was put in a very compromising position. Tip number 5, getting a money belt. What is a money belt? Great question if you're asking or wondering that. So a money belt is basically a belt or like a little pouch, kind of like a fanny pack, but it's more thin in material, where you could wear on your person, so on your body, and it can actually fit under clothing, so under your pants, where it could be unseen, so it's unrecognizable. I feel like the benefit of a money belt is you can store important items there, such as your passport, cash, credit card, and it's on your person. So in case there's any pickpocketers, you know, you won't really be affected because they can't really get to it, right? Because it's underneath your clothing. In case you're one of those individuals that like to travel with portable safes, I mean, you can travel with a portable safe if you like and leave it within your rooms, but I mean, anything can happen, really, especially if you're not there all the time. Especially with portable safes, they're movable, they're transferable, so somebody could just easily pick it up from your room and it's gone. As opposed to a money belt, you're usually carrying it on the go and you're carrying it on your person, so just around your waist here, and you can carry important items, like I said, passports, cash, credit card. I personally prefer money belts, and every trip I go to, solo or group trip, I'm always carrying a money belt. And whenever if my friends ever tell me that they're going on solo trips, I'm always the first to offer my money belt. So if you're not familiar with the money belt, definitely get familiarized and bring that on your next group trip or solo trip, just any trips overall. Tip number 6, last but not least, This one is one of the best ones, I would say, is be open-minded and be open to new experiences. You know, solo trips, not a lot of people enjoy solo trips. Personally, for me, I love solo trips. They really helped groom me to become the person I am today, in all honesty. And part of that is because I had to learn to step outside of my comfort zone, do things that I wouldn't normally do, while being safe, of course. But it just allowed me to really immerse myself into new cultures, new experiences, where those experiences that were created were memorable, and the people that I've met and I encountered are my lifelong friends. So just stepping outside of your comfort zone and being open-minded, you know, learn the local language. If you're someone that loves to use Google Translate, you know, try to pick up on some of these words that you're using on a daily basis and put it in your vocabulary so you can communicate with the locals and live with the locals and just experience that solo trip to the fullest degree. So I feel like that trip is so important, and it really one of my favorite tips when it came to taking solo trips. So if you're planning on going on a solo trip this year or even in the future, be sure to save this video. Be sure to come back to this video. Be sure to take notes. If you want a part 2, because there's so many more tips that I can share when it comes to solo trips or just group trips overall, be sure to comment down below and I'll make a part 2 to this video. Also, if you're planning a solo trip, comment down below and let me know where you guys are going. I want to know some good travel spots to go to. Also, if you guys want some tea and you guys want some story times from some of my solo trips, let me know in the comment section and I'll make that video for you. If you found this video to be useful, helpful, let me know your favorite tips down below and what tips you have or what you would like to share when it comes to planning for solo trips. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.